Welcome back, bigots. Have you ever heard of a game called Take Us North? Well, if you haven't, you will now. The game is under an immense amount of scrutiny, and for good reason. I'm going to describe those reasons in this video. I will be using a That Park Place article to help move us forward throughout the series of events, since this article perfectly summarizes everything. And then, towards the end of the video, I will be delving into some other evidences, I should say, that help argue my perspective. So stick around. I'll get to all that in just a minute. It's a heavy hitter, so buckle up. The first major heading states the surface story. So the surface story basically just covers what the game is, essentially, which is you are a coyote guiding immigrants from Mexico into the U.S.-Mexico border. And the game kind of tells the story of their adventures, going to America, basically, right? And what's really important to highlight, which is why I highlighted it here in this screenshot, is that in a Wired magazine, the Wired called it an empathy machine. And that's exactly what these people do with these types of topics, is they want to change your emotional appeal about the subject matter. That's why I am consistently and constantly refer to these woke slop games as propaganda, because that's exactly what it is. So Wings, if you remember Wings Interactive is involved in this game. The article continues to say, Wings is back, and their fingerprints are all over Take Us North. According to Gothic Therapy, Wings co-founder Audrey LaPrince personally promoted the project. We'll find out more about her in just a moment. And then it states, remember, Wings doesn't operate like a normal publisher. It functions as a grant body, distributing large sums, often up to $500,000, into games that rarely attract more than a few hundred players. And that is what has always struck me as odd. That all of these woke slop games that always fail spectacularly still get funded somehow. Now we're starting to find out how. But don't worry, I'm going to get into the funding in just a little bit. The article continues by saying there is a Sweet Baby connection. Wings' connection to Sweet Baby Inc. is well documented. Sweet Baby co-founder Kim Belair, you might remember her, served on the board of Wings, directly linking the two. Now, as you know, Sweet Baby is infamous for inserting identity politics into games like Spider-Man 2, Kill a Justice League, and God of War. They have been accused of turning gaming into a vehicle for ideological messaging, which is exactly what Take Us North is. The article continues to state that there's Enter Clever Endeavor. So there's a new player. Player 3 has arrived, apparently. The story doesn't end there, the article states. Gothic Therapy highlights another key player, Clever Endeavor Games, which also poured money into Take Us North. Conveniently, Clever Endeavor bankrolls Wings' 2025 Elevate program, the same program designed to push marginalized voices. Who would have guessed? So here we have a quick little summary of events here. So the funding flow looks like this. Microsoft bankrolls Anima Interactive, the studio behind Take Us North, through ID Xbox. Wings Interactive endorses and promotes the game. Clever Endeavor provides additional financial backing while sustaining Wings itself. That's not indie, that's institutional, says the article, says That Park Place. And I would have to agree. Now, I'm going to have to take a quick time out here to express one little thing. I am going to have to... Now, this is just me. I'm just saying this. You don't have to do what I do. I'm just saying this is what I do on a daily basis. Is that I think it's sad that I have to read the word indie and look into whether or not it's an actual indie developer, like a tiny studio making a game that they really want to make, or if it's an indie dev team, a smaller team that is being bankrolled by special interests. It's awful that we have to actually think that far ahead each time we're looking at a video game. It's a headache, but I digress. The article continues, from Xbox to the United Nations. And here's where it gets explosive. According to Gothic Therapy, Take Us North wasn't just shown at gaming festivals or Microsoft's indie showcases. It was reportedly presented at the United Nations under the codename, get this, the American Dream. just 9 months ago, and I'll get to the just 9 months ago later on in this video. So, for many games, it could go something like this. Again, another summary here. Wings serves as the funding and filtering body. Sweet Baby Inc. provides narrative consultation and ideological alignment. Microsoft legitimizes the project by putting it on Xbox platforms. So that's kind of the series of events. Now, on to a little bit more. The article states that Anima Interactive's own YouTube channel has a mere 61 subscribers. Without corporate and institutional boosters, this game would be invisible. Additionally, since being called out by prominent gaming influencers like Gothic Therapy, Smash JT, 𝐆𝐚𝐦𝐞𝐩𝐥𝐚𝐲, and Grums, Anima Interactive has since deactivated its X accounts. That's right. They ran, just like Grums says here, and this always seems to happen. As soon as we find out who's bankrolling them, who's behind them, especially if it's Sweet Baby Inc. or their ilk, they immediately shut down. They act like children who have been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Why is that? Nevertheless, there's something else I wanted to get into. Now that I'm done with the article, I want to kind of get into kind of the meat and potatoes of what's happening here. So, Chibi Reviews says this. Important censorship news. It has been discovered that Carla Reyes has connections not just with big people at Visa and MasterCard, but former politicians that worked with President Obama. Wow. She is also someone that directly was working with Square Enix. Now, I'm going to show you a screenshot here, so just hang in with me. From an interview, she revealed her publishing team is based in London, also known as the place all of this censorship this last month began. She openly admits in interviews she is heavily involved with financial technology. Now, here he's alluding to interviews. I've actually seen some of those interviews. I don't want to provide them here because this video would be like an hour long if I did that. So I ask, why is the game having ties to not just malicious groups controlling the public, but politicians as well? Why did she delete her account and the entire site privated? Now, when he says the entire site privated, he means Anima Interactive, the studio behind this propaganda game, completely blocked their website. You can't even visit it anymore. Again, they act like children with their hand caught in the cookie jar. Now, let's get into some evidence here. So, Chibi provides these screenshots. We have one screenshot here from GamesBeat from the 2024 Summit. Who do we have here? We have Carla Reyes. We've heard her name before. Who is she? She is the founder and studio director of Anima Interactive. So that's who Reyes is. Then, Jen Premisler. She's in financial tech at MasterCard. MasterCard. So this is how they're getting bankrolled. Your friends, the friends of Anima Interactive, are literally representatives of MasterCard. They work in financial tech at MasterCard. Now, are you beginning to see like the big grand scheme of things? It's like the old saying goes, it's a big club and you're not in it. Now, there are more screenshots I'll flash on the screen here. If you want to press pause and read them, go ahead. But this video would be too long if I read them all verbatim. But now let's get into some of the people that Chibi Reviews has kind of alluded to. Remember that politician Chibi just mentioned? Well, here he is. Mark DeLauro, former Obama White House. Don't know who he was exactly, but you can look him up at your leisure. And then we have another screenshot here. Actually, it's the same screenshot on the lower right-hand side. It's shown that Anima Interactive reposted Mark DeLauro's statement here when he was begging for money. So he's begging for money for the game, Take Us North. And this game was shown at the UN. The same UN that wrote this document. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say this document. You go find that and you read it. It's all connected. Conspiracy theory proven true once again. Now, here's the other thing I wanted to get into. Now that all of the evidence has kind of been displayed and I've discussed what's readily available, I want to get to something else. Here's a screenshot of mine that I made. I have been saying this and these things for a few years now. Now, the posts in white are from Gab, and I have posts that go back all the way back to, 2022? I think, maybe even 2021? All stating basically the same thing. I was curious about 𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐞 and how it was funded years ago. And I came to the conclusion that the money, more or less, is irrelevant, and that's why we keep seeing these games. We keep seeing these games because they have all the money that they need. Remember when we found out that Feminist Frequency was in part funded by taxpayer money through USAID? Do you remember that? Well, how many more incentives like that exist that we haven't uncovered yet? I'm sure there are many more. And we've just literally found out that there are representatives at MasterCard assisting in the bankrolling of these 𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐞 propaganda games. So it's no wonder why these games continue to be made. They are continue to be developed because their money is almost infinite, it seems like. They have an unlimited amount of money. It appears that way. That's what I'm running on right now. Until I'm shown evidence otherwise, at this very moment, I'm saying it seems as if they have an infinite amount of money. But it's not about the money at the same time, because they don't care about how much money is invested into these games, because the propaganda is what matters. They're not worried about their games failing because they're getting money from outside sources. You see what I'm saying? I hope I'm being clear. I hope I'm being articulate enough here. Now, one last thing I want to show, as this is also very important about this entire game and what's happening in the gaming industry as a whole. My main man, Old Man Grimm here, has this to say. I'm just going to leave it here. I don't want to quote it verbatim because it'll take me too long. But press pause, read it. Now, what Old Man Grimm is responding to is this guy, TTBN Gaming. I've never heard of this guy. Now, I'm not saying my channel's bigger than his or vice versa, and I'm just saying I've never heard of his channel. You know how many channels exist out there? I can't know them all. So, this guy is not an _𝐷𝐞𝐿 fan. That's fine. So be it. But what bothers me is this quote right here. Now, we say bothers me, I mean, I'm somewhat interested in what he says, but I have a reply. Here's my reply. So let me read it to you, and then I'll reply immediately thereafter. It's crazy to me how much of the online right in gaming have to wait for 𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐿 in order to have opinions. Dude, just on a personal note, if you ever get to hear this, I have my own opinions. I don't wait with bated breath to hear what 𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐴𝐿 has to say. I have my own mind. I come to my own conclusions. In fact, the screenshot I just gave of myself, quoting about the propaganda and the money, that's all me, dude. That's all me. I make my own decisions, and I come to my own conclusions. I don't need anybody else to give me my opinions. Now, it may happen that I agree with 𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐿 from time to time, as I do, but doesn't mean I don't think on my own. Now, the second part of his message is even weirder. Take Us North revealed its trailer 9 months ago, and no one cared. Do you want to know why, TTBN Gaming? Do you want to know why nobody cared? Because those are bad ideas. That game, Take Us North, is a bad idea. It's not a concept that's going to impress a lot of gamers. So that game didn't catch fire like Expedition 33 did. See, no one knew about it because it wasn't an impressive idea for a game. Impressive ideas for games are circulated. Okay, they become popular, they become noticeable because people keep passing it around. And the other reason, because there's two reasons, that's the first. The second reason why no one knew or no one cared about 9 months ago is because we're just now finding out Take Us North's connections. The connections to this game is what matters more than the game itself. How do you not understand this? This is really easy. This is not difficult subject matter, TTBN. Really. You gotta put on that thinking cap. That's all the time that I have for this video. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. Do all the fun, happy social stuff. You can find me on Gab. You can find me on X. Please pass this video around if you thought it was informative enough to pass around. And until next time, have fun.